this meeting of the Springfield City Council to order. I'm Jesse Letterman, Vice President of the City Council. The Council President, Marcus Williams, has informed us that he will not be joining this evening, and I'll be presiding in his place. So at this time, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Councilor Perez?
Present.
Present. Councilor Letterman?
Present.
Present. Councilor Curran?
Present.
Present. Councilor Walsh?
Present.
Present. Councilor Brown?
Present.
Present. Councilor Davila? Absent. Councilor Hurst?
Councilor Hurst just joined. Try Councilor Hurst one more time, Madam Clerk.
Councilor Hurst? I'll circle back. Councilor Edwards?
Present.
Present. Councilor Allen?
Present.
Present. Councilor Govan?
Present.
Present. Councilor Fenton?
Present.
Present. Councilor Whitfield? Absent. Councilor Williams? Absent. Councilor Hurst?
Present.
Present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
Thank you so much. At this time, will the council and guests please join us in rising for a moment of silence? And please join me now in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll begin this evening with any reports of committee. Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Springfield Women's Commission met last week at American International College. They were hosted by Commissioner Mariah Mock, who's an employee of the college. It's part of an effort of the Women's Commission to meet people in the community and broaden the outreach of the commission. The commission is currently in the process of doing a survey of issues that are important to women and girls in the community. We hope once we get, because we're a new committee, but we hope in the fall to have forums where we can tackle some of these issues. So far, the surveys that we've conducted have identified domestic violence, domestic and relationship violence, girls learning about appropriate relationships, childcare, daycare, equality, higher education and student resources, low self-esteem, and children's hunger as issues. And as we make progress and have events planned, we'll be happy to inform the council and invite all my colleagues to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Govan.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The Mental Health Subcommittee met on May 5th, and we had a lot of community members. We also had the chairperson actually of the newly formed police commission. We had really vibrant discussion. We had Councilor Davila there. And we are continuing to meet to come up with some solutions for the city to have the best mental health outcomes possible. And our next meeting is on June 2nd. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Councilor Allen.
Thanks, Mr. President. I'm not a chair of a committee that I'm reporting on, but after our vote of a couple weeks ago to approve the research into the pension bonds, it seemed to me that there was an appetite for me reporting on that every so often. So I'll just, if you don't mind, I'll just give the 2-week update from 2 weeks ago. We voted 2 weeks ago tonight. Since then, there have been 2 regular meetings. They occur on Wednesdays. I attended both of them, and there's not a lot to report. Everybody's concerned that, that the Fed increase was 0.5%, which might be just too much for us to be able to do the pension bond or recommend going forward with the pension bonds, because we might not be able to get that 2.5% spread between the pension bond, what we would sell the bonds at, like 4.5 or 4 3/4 or something, and what we would need for an investment return of 7% or more. So it's not a lot of new information. It's just that there's continued work on thinking of ways where we could get a better investment return, or thinking of ways that creatively this could work. But right now, I'd say we're about in the status quo from where we were 2 weeks ago. We meet every Wednesday. There are some pre-meetings considered with ANF, which is the state agency that has to approve this if we decide to go forward. We haven't decided even to go forward with a plan to them at this point. But happy to take any questions, or during the meeting or after. Our next meeting will be Wednesday. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Madam Clerk, can you please recognize Councilor Whitfield?
Counselor Whitfield,
Present.
present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilor Whitfield, we just are on reports of committee, and I know you may have a Finance Committee report. Are you prepared?
It was brief. It was Counselor Allen and I, as counselors that were there, and we were on for 4 minutes with 4 items. 2 from DPW. One is a transfer of 100,000 within departments to cover recycling, because recycling is up considerably. I told them most of it probably came from me and Amazon orders, but recycling is up. And a transfer from reserve for contingency for gas. And we know those prices are up as well. And the other 2 are just, one is a library donation, and the other one was $6,500 from reserve to contingency to the clerk's office. And that'll all be explained, but it was really simple. And that's what the meeting was about today.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Are there any further reports of committee tonight? Seeing none, is there a motion to accept the committee reports?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Govan, moved by Councilor Walsh. All those in favor of Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On accepting the reports for committee, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila, absent. Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent.
Motion carries and the committee reports are accepted. The first item on our agenda now is the fiscal year 23 annual audit plan. Is there anyone here to speak to this item? Councilor Hurst.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say that at our last audit committee meeting, we did review the annual audit plan. We did not take a vote on it, but I'm certainly recommending approval this evening by the council. I believe it requires a vote, Mr. President. Majority vote of the council.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Any further testimony on the audit? I don't know if Auditor No is going to speak to it, Councilor Hurst.
Auditor No presented it a couple weeks ago, or maybe a month ago at one of our meetings, and we sent it to committee. So I don't think he was probably anticipating having to say anything further. There wasn't much more discussed about the audit plan, other than, we're certainly in favor of it, although we didn't take a vote.
Okay. So seeing no further testimony on the matter, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Counselor Allen, seconded by Counselor Hurst. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve the fiscal year 2023 audit plan? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Walsh?
yes,
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yeah.
Yes. Counselor Davila? Absent. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Allen?
yes,
Yes. Counselor Govan?
yes,
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Williams absent. Counselor Letterman?
Yes. Motion passes and the fiscal year audit plan is approved. Thank you very much. We'll move on to petitions. Second item on our agenda is a petition on Portsmouth Street. Is there anybody here to speak to this petition?
Good evening, councilors. Chris Signoli, DPW Director. On the petitions this evening, there are 3 petitions. The first one is for Springfield College. They are in the process of designing a new building. Adjacent to the new building, Sheffield Street, Alden, Portsmouth, and Shillingford. They're installing 2 parking areas. And what their application for at this time is to lay a conduit within the street that will connect both parking areas for new electric vehicle charging stations to connect those back and forth. Would you like me to present the other 2, Counselor?
Is there any objection to taking all the petitions together? Hearing none, Chris, go ahead.
Thank you. The second one is by Eversource on Wilbraham Road. For those of you who have been out there in the area of Bradley Road, Wilbraham Road, Breckwood Boulevard, there's work going on at their substation. Last year, Eversource was in and received approval through a petition, I believe in either September or October. This is a modification based upon field conditions and other items out there. They are installing 3 new manholes in the street, and one section will be 442 feet of 12 5-inch pipes and 202 feet of 12 5-inch pipes to complete connections into the upgrades that they're doing at the substation. And the third item is Columbia Gas for upgrades, replacement of gas mains on Lebanon Street, a new 2-inch line of 1,400 feet on Prince Street, new 2-inch line of 330 feet, Lebanon Place 2-inch line of 150 feet, Nelson Ave 2-inch line at 416 feet, and Green Street 2 inches at 508 feet. If any of the counselors have any questions at this point, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you, Chris. Counselor Allen, followed by Counselor Hurst.
Thanks, Mr. President. Yeah, Chris, thank you for presenting these. I just have a question on the substation. There's been an awful lot of activity there for weeks, if not months. And
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of activity out in the street. I don't know if it's related, but in front of the Pride Station and stuff. Do you have
Yes,
any
it
idea?
is.
Is it related to the same? Is
Yes.
it, you know, the duration of that work?
The work that they're doing out there, this work that's being petitioned is part of that. It's an extension and some modifications of the original approval. They're going to be out there for probably another couple months with the new lines that they have to put in there. And the work that you see now, a lot of it has to do with the manholes that they're putting in are pretty big. They're 6 feet by 14 by 7. So they require a little bit of space to be able to get those manholes in there. So they'll be out there for at least the next couple months.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Allen. Counselor Hurst, followed by Counselor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chris, a few years ago, we did a number of streets in the Mason Square area.
Yep.
Are we within the time? What was Lebanon Street one of those streets?
I don't think Lebanon Street was. Green Street, a small piece of it was, but when we did Eastern Ave, we did some small work on the side streets. So there's a little bit of Green Street and a little bit of Lebanon because they're going in like 10, 15 feet, but basically they're staying outside of the new when I say the new, what we paved a few years ago on the construction end.
What's the time frame normally on that? Is it 3 years?
That work, I don't know the timeline, but I'm going to assume that they're going to be starting right away. That's probably just by looking at the scale of it, that's probably a 6-week project total.
Let me rephrase my question. How long do we have to wait after the roads are paved for us to be allowed?
Minimum 3 years on city paving and 5 years when we're doing a Mass DOT project.
Okay, and so because we didn't pave Lebanon Street, we are within the rights to make such.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. As far as my concern a lot of times is when they're doing a lot of this new construction, a lot of times when they put that stuff down, it's such patchwork, especially in my area. It would be nice, like my colleague Councilor Hurst is saying, to add some. Is it possible to add some streets to repair while we're doing some of that stuff? Because sometimes these guys, they come and they dig a hole and it's like they throw rocks over it. It's like there's a big hole in the middle of our street a couple of years later.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that we do, Counselor, is number one, off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure, but a lot of the work that Columbia Gas is doing on streets like this is they're trying to get ahead of our paving on what we either have planned this year or next year. Now, on the work that they're doing on these streets, what a lot of people do see is when they do the work, they really do temporary patching. Then when they're completely done, they come in and they mill out a larger area and do final paving on it. So, we've been holding them to that over the time. I'll get back to you because I'll double check. I'm not sure of the dates. I know a couple of the streets are on our paving list that they're trying to get ahead of, and I can let you know what street those are. I think Lebanon and/or Green is definitely one of them, though, because they're trying to get ahead of.
Because Chris, when I know I mean, you know better than I do, but I can show you pictures and show you area. I know even when they actually come over it, it's still after even that doesn't even last maybe a year and a half. When you're talking about the actual flooding and the drainage and stuff like that, I think a lot of times they might be the cause of it. Are they leveling this stuff out? I mean, are they really doing it so it doesn't flood and stuff once they sit there? Now they just throw the pavement over the street.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, what we've been I'm sorry, Counselor, go ahead. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
We've been getting hit with flooding severely. And you don't think they might be some of the cause of it with their patchwork?
They could be. However, what we've been doing lately with them is we've been doing intermediate inspections of their work, especially on the backfilling and the paving, milling and paving piece of it. If there's specific areas that are having problems with drainage, let me know, because I know there's a couple areas where in a lot of those areas, the drainage is controlled by water and sewer because it's all combined sewer there. So sometimes there's another issue, but when it comes to Columbia Gas work, we've been really holding them to a higher standard lately. But if you do have any specific areas, please let me know and I'll go through them with Columbia Gas immediately to get them taken care of.
Okay, Chris, one more thing, real quick. Over there on Albany Ave, they've been waiting for their gas. I don't know, Vice President Letterman, you know some of the people over there. They've having an issue with there's a bunch of businesses over there and all they need is their pipes hooked up. And it seems like they all have everything ready to go and nothing's happening. A lot of times these guys, they want us to come and approve some of their projects, but when the voters and the registered people and the constituents in the area have issues, these guys, I mean, they're destroying this business over there on it's on Albany. Am I correct, Vice President? That's where, have you spoken with them?
Councilor Brown, yeah, I'm familiar. I actually think I talked with them last week and they should be all set.
Okay.
But we can certainly, I want to stick to the agenda, but we can certainly follow up.
All right. Thank you. That's all, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, if there's a specific location on that also, whether it's Counselor Letterman or Counselor Brown, just let me know.
No, we're all set. Thanks, Chris.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Well, it was a good job, brother. Thank you.
Councilor Brown. Counselor Allen.
I was just raising my hand just to point of information, Chris. When you say Columbia Gas, are they still using that name, or are they really Eversource?
I'm sorry, if I said Columbia, I misspoke. It's Eversource Gas.
Thank you. That's what I thought. Thanks.
Is there any further discussion on items 2 through 4? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to approve items 2, 3, and 4.
So moved.
Second,
Motion was made by Counselor Whitfield and seconded by Counselor Walsh. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On approving items 2 through 4, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
yes,
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila, absent. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent. Counselor Letterman?
Yes, items 2 through 4 are approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item. And Madam Clerk, I think we're actually going to take 5 and 6 together, if there's no objection.
And item number 6 is a fiscal year 22 grant in the amount of $17,000.
Did you call item 5, Madam Clerk?
Yes, I'm sorry. Item 5 was the Springfield City Library donation in the amount of $500.
Thank you very much. Counselor Walsh, I saw your hand up briefly. Did you have a question on one of these?
just that these two items, 5 and 6, can be taken together because
Yeah.
they're under the $50,000.
Is there a motion to approve items 5 and 6?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Allen, seconded by Counselor Brown. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on items 5 and 6.
On approving these two items, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
Yes,
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila, absent. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent. Counselor Letterman?
Yes, motion carries and the grants are accepted. Madam Clerk, please call the next order.
Item number 7 is an order approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Springfield Parking Authority.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there anybody here to speak on this item?
Yes, so Robert Suchuk, 365 Tiffany Street, Springfield, Mass. This is an order asking for the approval of an intergovernmental agreement between the SPA and the city of Springfield for the lease of a lot that the SPA uses for police order tows.
Thank you, Attorney Shushak. Are there any questions on this item from the council? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion was made by Counselor Govan. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Allen. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the motion to approve.
On approving item number 7, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
yes,
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila, absent. Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
yes,
Yes, Counselor Govan.
yes,
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent. Counselor Letterman.
Yes, motion carries and the item is approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is item number 8, a transfer from reserve for contingencies to the office of the city clerk in the amount of $6,500.
Is there anybody here to speak on this item?
Yes, Mr. President, TJ Plant Capital for the city of Springfield. This request is to transfer $6,500 from the reserve for contingencies to cover projected expenses through June 30th for advertising in the clerk's office.
Thank you, TJ. Are there any questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, Maria.
Motion was made by Counselor Walsh and seconded by Counselor Perez. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approving the item. Please call the roll on approving the item.
On approving the transfer, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes,
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila, absent. Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
yes,
Yes, Counselor Fenton. Govan.
Yeah.
Yes, Counselor
Yes.
Govan. Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent. Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the order is approved. We'll need to suspend Rule 19. Is there a motion to suspend Rule 19?
so moved,
Motion was made by
Second.
Counselor, seconded by Counselor Whitfield. All those, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on suspending Rule 19.
On suspension of Rule 19, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
yes,
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila. Absent. Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
yes,
Yes, Counselor Govan.
yes,
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent. Counselor Letterman.
Yes, motion carries and Rule 19 is suspended. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is item number 9, transfer from reserve for contingencies to the Department of Public Works in the amount of $75,000.
Is there anybody here to speak to this item?
Good evening, councilors. Chris Signoli, DPW Director. As you have known, over the past few months, a number of departments have come before you with regard to transfer for fuel. We waited as long as we could to determine exactly what we would need. And in our general fund, to get us through the rest of the year, we're requiring an additional $75,000 within our budget. And just for everybody's purpose, we are now paying this week $5.68 for diesel and $3.79 for regular. That has basically doubled within the last 12 months.
Thank you, Director Signoli. Are there any questions for Chris? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve.
second,
Motion was made by Counselor Whitfield and seconded by Counselor Allen. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approval.
On approving the item, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
yes,
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila, absent. Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
yes,
Yes, Counselor Govan.
yes,
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent. Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the motion carries. Is there a motion to suspend Rule 19?
so moved,
second,
Moved by Counselor Allen and seconded by Counselor Walsh. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on suspending Rule 19.
On suspending Rule 19, Counselor Perez,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Curran,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Walsh,
yes,
yes, Counselor Brown,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Davila absent, Counselor Hurst,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Edwards,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Allen,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Govan,
yes,
yes, Counselor Fenton,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Whitfield,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Williams absent, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the motion carries. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Next item is item number 10, a budget transfer within a department in the amount of $100,000.
Is there anybody here to speak to this item?
Good evening, councilors. Chris Signoli, DPW Director. The transfer we're looking for this evening is from our salary line item into professional services. There are two items in there. We have had a pretty good jump in the amount of recycling that we've seen. We budgeted a little bit over 7,000 tons. We're probably going to be about 7,800. And this will also cover us for temporary services. We go out and hire private services to help us when we need for yard waste season, when we are short employees. So this transfer from the salaries to the professional services will cover both of those expenses.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any questions on this item? Counselor Allen?
Thanks, Mr. President. Yeah, Chris, while we're on this topic, could you just give an update on the recycling, how we aren't making money recycling anymore? Has that changed in the last couple of years since that bad news came, or is that?
Actually, when we entered into our agreement, we're entering in July 1st, we'll be entering our fourth year. Just for everybody's purposes, we spend about $80 a ton to get rid of trash, and we pay about $120 to get rid of recycling. However, part with COVID, part with some changes in regulations, we actually have a very, very good revenue component right now on our recycling. We are not allowed to intermingle the revenue with the expense side. However, we have done very, very well this year, where we've been probably ending up netting only about $40 a ton on the recycling. And there were a number of months where we actually made money. There is a huge demand now for raw goods, and due to COVID, a lot of places cannot come up with raw material. So they are having to go with recycling, especially cardboard, especially newspapers, and especially glass. So those three things have really popped up, and we're getting some very, very good revenue for the city at this time.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Allen. Are there any further questions on this item? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to approve the item.
so moved,
second,
Motion was made by Counselor Govan, seconded by Counselor Walsh. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approving the item.
On approving the item, Counselor Perez,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Curran,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Walsh,
yes,
yes, Counselor Brown,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Davila absent, Counselor Hurst,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Edwards,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Allen,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Govan,
yes,
yes, Counselor Fenton,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Whitfield,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Williams absent, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the budget transfer is approved. Is there a motion to suspend Rule 19?
So moved.
second,
Motion was made by Counselor Allen and seconded by Counselor Govan. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I will entertain a roll call on suspending Rule 19.
On suspending Rule 19, Counselor Perez,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Curran,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Walsh,
yes,
yes, Counselor Brown,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Davila absent, Counselor Hurst,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Edwards,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Allen,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Govan,
yes,
yes, Counselor Fenton,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Whitfield,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Williams absent, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the motion carries. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is for a special permit to operate an adult use marijuana establishment at a portion of the property known as 299 Page Boulevard.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We did receive a request from the petitioner, item 11, through their attorney, Frank Fitzgerald, to continue this to our hearings meeting. I believe that's consistent with also the request from the last regular meeting. So with that, if anybody's willing, we'll entertain a motion to continue.
So moved.
Motion was made by Councilor Govan and seconded by Councilor Allen. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on continuing item 11 to the next hearings meeting.
On continuing item number 11, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
yes,
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila absent. Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Abstain.
Abstain. Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor
Oh,
Williams.
excuse me,
Go ahead.
Madam Clerk, I abstain from this.
Okay, I will mark you down as abstain, Councilor Brown. Councilor Whitfield. That was a yes. Councilor Williams, absent. Councilor Letterman.
Yes, the permit is continued. Please call the next item, Madam Clerk.
The next item is for a special permit to operate a medical office, clinic, or treatment facility with no overnight stay at the property known as 90 Corando Drive.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I believe the hearing on this is still open. Have we received any additional testimony in support of the petition?
We did receive one letter of support, which was submitted by Kathleen Brown. It reads as follows: to the Springfield City Clerk and Springfield City Council, the East Springfield Neighborhood Council has carefully reviewed the special permit planning staff analysis. We have conducted a site visit and meeting with the petitioner. After this review, we, the East Springfield Neighborhood Council, have determined that the site and accommodations are appropriate for the proposed use as long as all conditions proposed by the City of Springfield Planning Department are included. Sincerely, Kathleen Brown, East Springfield Neighborhood Council.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Was there any further testimony in favor submitted?
No, there was not.
And was there any testimony submitted against?
No, there was not.
Councilor Fenton?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm happy to support the special permit application tonight along with the neighborhood. I think it'll be a good benefit and appreciate this applicant's patience and persistence in following these meetings. So thank you, ma'am, for joining us again here tonight. And I would make a motion that we close the public hearing and approve the special permit subject to the conditions that were circulated by Phil earlier today.
Second.
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing, and I think we can just declare the public hearing closed, Councilor Fenton, and then take a motion to approve the permit. The public hearing is now closed. And is your motion, Councilor Fenton, to approve the permit with the stipulated conditions?
Yes, it is.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Whitfield. Is there any discussion among councilors? Seeing none. Madam Clerk,
Yes,
please.
that's my motion.
On approving the special permit with conditions, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
yes,
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila absent. Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams absent. Councilor Letterman.
Yes, the permit is approved. Congratulations, and we're excited for you. Councilor Perez on the reasons.
On the reason for granted permit, Number one, the specific site is appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. Number two, the use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Number three, adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. Number four, to incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision at the basis of the findings.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on accepting the reasons.
On accepting the reasons, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
yes,
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila absent. Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams absent. Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the reasons are approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is for a special permit for a car wash at the properties known as 1090 Boston Road, North Side Boston Road, and West Side Ramsgate Street.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The hearing on this is also open. Have we received any testimony submitted in support since our last meeting?
We did. We have received a letter of support from the Pine Point Community Council. It's dated May 13th, and it reads as follows. To whom it may concern, on May 10th, 2022, two representatives of the new owners, Garnett and Reynolds, of the former JD Byrider lot at 1090 Boston Road doing business as Washville, made a presentation to the Pine Point Council for a new business of a car wash at that site. After discussing the plan of the plot, the number of cars that would be on the site at one time, the entrance/exit strategies for egress onto Boston Road, and the fact that the business would not encroach on any additional areas of 5 Mile Pond, a vote was taken and the city council and the council unanimously approved the construction and revamping of the site. We wish them well and welcome them to the Pine Point neighborhood. Signed, sincerely, Mary Colbert, Treasurer of the Pine Point Community Council.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Was there any further testimony submitted in favor?
There was not.
Was there any testimony submitted in opposition?
No, there was not.
Thank you. Councilor Govan.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. So this permit for the car wash, they did come to our Citizens Council on May 11th, which was just last week, and they presented their plan. Our council members and residents asked a lot of questions. I think they were directed by us, to us, even though this is not in our Indian Orchard neighborhood, but they were directed to us by the city if they couldn't get in touch with the Pine Point Neighborhood Council. So they did receive a lot of questions and they were able to answer them appropriately. And we didn't decide whether to support or not because it's not in our neighborhood, but there was no strong opposition at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Phil Dromey.
Yeah, councilors, I just wanted to note in the email that included the letter from the Pine Point Neighborhood Council. There was also mention that they were looking to amend the hours of operation from Monday through Saturday from 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
I did see that, Phil. So I think what is probably appropriate is if there's no further testimony in favor or against, we'll close the public hearing and then we'll entertain a motion to amend the conditions from a counselor. Before we close the public hearing, is there anything the petitioners would like to share further? Lady Bernardo?
Yes, thank you, counselors. I'd like to thank Counselor Govan for assisting and getting us coordinated with the neighborhood councils. I appreciate that a great deal. And I hope that all of the questions that the city, the members of the community have been answered. And if there's any additional information that the council would like, the team is is on board this evening, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. So the public hearing portion is now closed. I will now issue deliberation or enter into deliberation. Is there a motion to amend the conditions of the permit to be consistent with the requested hours of operation?
So moved.
Councilor Govan has made a motion to amend the hours of operation consistent with the request of the petitioner, which would be Monday through Saturday from 7:30 a.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. and Sunday from 8 o'clock a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on the motion to amend the condition? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the amendment to the conditions for the special permit.
On the amendment, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila. Absent, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams. Absent, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the amendment is approved. Is there any further deliberation on the permit? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the permit with conditions?
So moved. Second.
Motion made by Counselor Allen, seconded by Counselor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approving the permit with conditions.
On approving the permit with conditions, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila. Absent, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams. Absent, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the permit is approved. Counselor Perez on the reasons.
Reasons for granted permit. Number one, the specific site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. Number two, the use as developed would not adversely affect the neighborhood. Number three, adequate and appropriate facility will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. Number four, to incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision at the basis of the findings.
Madam Clerk, please call on the roll on accepting the reasons.
On accepting the reasons, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila. Absent, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams. Absent, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the reasons are approved. Congratulations again. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is an ordinance to require 30 days notice of projects seeking appropriation over $1 million from free cash or the stabilization fund.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Counselor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I'd like to thank my colleagues for their support and input into this ordinance. I think we all remember what the genesis of this particular ordinance was, that the frustration that we all felt, or may I say many of us felt, about the Court Street project, not having information in a timely manner, being forced to take a vote that we weren't comfortable with, being blamed, having to take the blame if we didn't do that for the project to fail. I just thought it was the time had come where the Springfield City Council, we need to be treated as an equal partner in many of these projects. And I think this ordinance will go a long way for creating those opportunities having us all work together, because after all, I think all of us, we all have the same goal, doing what's best for the city. So I'd like to thank Councilor Govan, who suggested language for this, Councilor Fenton, who helped me with the dollar amount, Councilor Hurst for new language for this, some of the legalese on this. And I'm going to read it because I really think it speaks for itself. I originally was just going to have it be economic development projects over $1 million. But then we had all the discussion on the pension obligation bonds. So I thought it was probably a good idea to not only have the economic development projects, but also bonds or any other project that would require over $1 million in investment that the city council needed to be vote on, because we don't want these projects coming to us at the last minute, which has happened many times, not only this year, but over the years, has happened many times, that they come to us and say, you've got to do this right away. I think we all feel that we want to have some input from the public, and we want to make sure that we're making informed discussions and giving ourselves and our constituents time to weigh in. So I would like to read the ordinance. Whereas the Springfield City Council considers, reviews, assesses, and approves the appropriation of funds for projects and bonds for the betterment of Springfield. And whereas the Springfield City Council has the fiduciary responsibility to evaluate and deliberate how our citizens' tax dollars are being spent. And whereas the Springfield City Council makes important decisions that impact future policy, fiscal transparency is a necessary element of effective public management. Whereas the Springfield City Council has been asked to appropriate city funds for major economic development projects without sufficient or adequate notice and without benefit of public input. And whereas any city department proposing a project, bond, or real estate purchase, which requires an appropriation of funds as set forth, must inform the city council at least 30 days in advance of the details and anticipated cost of the project before it can be put on the calendar for a vote. Now therefore be it ordered that the following ordinance shall be added to Chapter 42, Finances, Article 7, Financial Policies, as Section 42 through 37, paragraphs H and I, to take effect upon enactment. Any city department proposing a project that requires an appropriation of funds in excess of $1 million from free cash or the stabilization fund is required to submit a draft of the proposed order to the Springfield City Council at least 30 calendar days prior to the requested city council meeting date to vote on the agenda item. The draft order may be submitted by email. Failure to so notify the city council will automatically trigger a referral of the order to the Finance and Economic Development Committees to be fully vetted and discussed at a public meeting. This requirement does not apply to transfers or appropriations within the adopted general fund budget or enterprise fund. For city council approved projects in excess of $1 million, the chief administrative and financial officer shall submit quarterly project updates to the mayor and all city councilors, including but not limited to any change orders, cost overruns, and deadline changes. And again, thank you all for your input. And I also would like to thank Attorney Kathy Breck for getting this back in a timely manner so we could vote on it tonight. And I'd appreciate any comments or input.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Whitfield, followed by Councilor Hurst.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to say that I really appreciate how swiftly Councilor Walsh acted on this ordinance after what I'm gonna call the incident happened.
Well, I wanted to do it while we could all remember it.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you for acting so swiftly. I think it's needed. And I think it is our fiduciary responsibility to oversee funds going out the door so quickly. And I like what you said, that we are partners. We should be partners in this, and we shouldn't be shocked by anything that comes across the city council agenda. So I just wanted to thank you again for acting so quickly on this, Councilor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Councilor Hurst, followed by Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I echo the sentiments of Councilor Whitfield. I too want to thank Councilor Walsh for bringing forth this ordinance. It was desperately needed. I've constantly said time and time again that we need to have an opportunity to make sure that our constituents are informed, especially when we're approving these big money items that have been coming before us in the past 6 months. And I'm sure that we would have run into this issue again, and we are going to run into this issue again. And this time we won't have our backs against the wall, and the administration will know that they have to, at the very least, get it to us within 30 days. And it probably should be even more than 30 days when you think about it, Councilor Walsh. But I'll certainly rest with the 30 days, knowing that you've done your due diligence. Please add me as a co-sponsor. And I think at the end of the day, this is going to allow for a much better relationship between the council and the administration. And it won't be this tug of war, which has occurred previously. So thank you so much for your efforts, Councilor Walsh, and certainly want to be added as a co-sponsor, Madam Clerk.
Please add me also, Madam Clerk. Sorry, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilor Hurst and Councilor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, did you get that?
Yes.
Okay, Councilor Allen.
Thanks, Mr. President. Catering, good job on this. I'm just wondering, were you planning to have a committee meeting on it, or because I'm really just reading it on this agenda. I wasn't involved in the drafting of it or anything. Certainly I've heard, I knew it was in progress, but I just think, well, I just want to know, are you?
Well, Councilor Allen, I had the city council send out a copy of the draft to all members of the city council so that they could read it and make suggestions on it before we voted on it on the agenda. So I think it's pretty straightforward. I really don't think there's a need for a meeting. It specifically says what we want to accomplish.
Okay, yeah, I just know that when we do things like this, like the 10 o'clock rule, it seems simple. We do it, and then we have 2 or 3 other clarification times after. And, so I'm just proposing, I'm not proposing it, I'm just questioning it. You're saying that sending it around is all you intended to do in terms, not have really a discussion on it.
Yeah, I felt confident that my colleagues, if they had any concerns or would like to add anything, as Councilor Govan did, she was very insistent on the transparency be included in the language, that it would come forward. It was vetted by the law department. Then I hope all of you, I did make that request to the city council staff to send a copy of the ordinance to all of you for your input and to ask if you would like to be sponsors. So no, I'd like us to vote on it tonight in case there's another appropriation that we're going to be asked to take in the future.
Oh, I understand the importance of it. I just, when would it go into effect?
Upon enactment.
Is this a first step kind of thing? First step and?
No, it's effective upon enactment.
I think Councilor Allen's question is this on for first step? And it is on for first step. It would still need a second vote. Right,
but yeah, let me clarify that. Yes, once approved, it would take effect upon enactment. Right.
So we would vote on first step tonight and second and third steps in 2 or 3 weeks at the next regular meeting.
Correct. Sorry, that's my alarm.
All set, Councilor Allen?
Okay, all set. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Councilor Govan, you had your hand up and you haven't spoken yet. Did you still want to speak? You're all right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, at the very least, I think we should vote on first step right now. I mean, it started off as a resolution and then turned into the ordinance. The language is not much different, and we should have all had an opportunity to vet it when she sent it out. If there's a need to have a committee meeting, then certainly Councilor Walsh can entertain that between us approving first step and then it coming back before us for second and third step at our next regular meeting. So my vote would be to approve first step or take first step now.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Is there any further discussion on the ordinance? Councilor Perez?
Yes, I just want to ask a question. So for point of knowledge, So the first step is just to approve the ordinance. What's the procedure, please?
So this is on for first step, Councilor Perez. All ordinances are required to be technically read 3 times before the body, although we're able to do steps 2 and 3 usually together at a second meeting is the practice. And so this would be the first vote on the ordinance. If it passes tonight, it will go on the next regular agenda for second and third step. Sometimes there's a committee meeting between between the first step and second and third step, but it's not required to be a committee meeting between them.
And at that point, if you have questions, because I know that first step, you could go back to the petitioner and ask some questions if you have some questions to ask at that point.
Correct. So you could ask questions in a committee meeting or at the next hearing or at the next regular meeting. You could also offer amendments at the next regular meeting. So passage of first step is essentially just the first step in the process.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Is there any further questions or discussion on this ordinance? Councilor Fenton.
Thank you, Councilor Letterman. I just wanted to say we can discuss this between the next meeting, but I did see Councilor Walsh under the section I that you read, reference to quarterly reporting.
Yes.
And things from the finance team that that wasn't a part of the draft that I had originally reviewed. And so I think we should just, between now and the next meeting, have a further discussion about what that means practically, what goes in the report, that kind of thing. That's all.
May I ask if my colleagues did receive the copy of the draft?
I did.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
No, I didn't mean that I didn't receive it. It's just that was not in the first draft that I saw. So
Okay.
it wasn't, that's all.
So, but it was sent out.
Mhm.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Are there any further questions? Councilor Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is unusual, untypical for first steps to go automatically to the General Government Committee for the review after passage of first step.
It has been a practice, Councilor Edwards, of the council oftentimes for the chair of general government to call a committee meeting on ordinances that pass first step. It's not required, but it certainly can take place.
Well, I believe Councilor Fenton is the chair of general government. He did have some questions related to the original draft versus what was read into the record as of today. Would it be not appropriate even after passage of first step for the committee meeting to be done in general government?
It would not be inappropriate, Councilor Edwards, if Councilor Fenton would like to hold a general government committee. I am presiding right now, but I will say that I would appreciate a general government committee because I certainly support the intent and spirit of the ordinance. I do have some questions about some of the language just to make sure that we don't have any legal holes in it. So I would certainly attend and partake in that if Councilor Fenton was willing to call it.
Happy to.
Anything further, Councilor Edwards?
Is that necessary to be made in the form of a motion?
No, Councilor Edwards, not unless you were intending to refer the item to committee. If we're just going to pass first step and with the understanding.
No, if it's going to be, just give people opportunity to ask those types of questions and to get that type of clarity. If I'm okay with passing first step tonight, and if it's going to be discussed, then that gives people an opportunity to have further clarity.
Thank you, Councilor Edwards.
And I have no problems with that because that's the intent of the whole thing.
Excellent. All right. Are there any further questions or deliberation on the ordinance? Seeing none, is there a motion to pass first step of the ordinance?
So moved.
Motion by Councilor Govan and seconded by Councilor Allen. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on first step passage of the item.
On first steps for item number 14, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila. Absent, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams, absent. Counselor Letterman.
Yes, ordinance has passed first step. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Next item is item number 15, which is an ordinance further amending chapter 270, section 270-11B of this code of the city of Springfield ordinance regarding pawn brokers and secondhand articles.
Councilor Fenton.
Thank you, Councilor Letterman. This is my proposal. We do have a representative here from the Springfield Police Department. Thank you, Detective, for joining us. We held a committee meeting on this subject after some requests for data were presented at the last meeting. Most of that data has been produced at a very high level. I'll just run the council through what we're doing here. In 2014, the council passed an ordinance that monitors and restricts the operation of pawn shops and secondhand dealers in the city, requires a certain level of monitoring, picture taking of merchandise, driver's licenses being provided at the time of the exchange. And the program's been extremely successful in terms of mitigating crime and reducing the secondary market for stolen items. In that same year, we put forward a moratorium on the issuances of licenses for new pawn shops or secondhand dealers. 2 years later, we extended that moratorium in 2016. And then again in 2019, we extended the moratorium on new pawn shops and secondhand dealers in the city due to a perceived oversaturation and due to a perceived potential for increased demand with the Class 1 casino gaming license in the city in the form of MGM Springfield. And so the current moratorium is set to expire on June 30th of this year. The proposal tonight is to take first step on extending that moratorium for another 3 years. And based on the information that we've been able to obtain through NESPN, the SPD, and some of the work of the Springfield City Council office, I feel that this proposal to continue the moratorium for another 3 years is needed, and that Springfield continues to have a disproportionate share of pawn shops and secondhand dealers, even when compared to other gateway cities across the Commonwealth. So with that, I'd like to see if the council would be willing to take first step tonight. And if there's any further requests for information between now and the next meeting, would be happy to field those as well to the best of our ability. If there's any questions for the police department, or if Detective Adams would like to add anything, would welcome them to do that, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Fenton. Councilor Hurst, I see you have your hand up. Certainly will hand you the floor unless you would be interested in hearing from Detective Adams first.
I would be interested in hearing from Detective Adams first.
Okay. We do want to give Detective Adams a chance to speak since he's been here with us since the beginning. So Detective Adams, thank you for being here. And would you like to add anything to Councilor Fenton's initial testimony?
Good afternoon, councilors. It's a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. I concur with the councilor's assessment that we have plenty of pawn shops and secondhand dealer establishments within the confines of the city, and that through the efforts of NESPN and the partnerships that we've collaborated with along the years, we have had a lot of success rates in mitigating some of the adverse purchases and sales of stolen items to our local pawn shops and dealers, to people with addictions and things of that nature. COVID actually had an effect for obvious reasons, lockdowns and things of that nature. But since the severity of that has been subsiding, we have seen an uptick in sales and things of that nature. We continue to monitor it. And again, I would concur with the assessment that at least for the time being, the prudent step would be to maintain the moratorium as is for at least a period of 3 years as established, and allow for further, resumption of normality to everyday life, and see if there's an adverse effect after that time.
Thank you, Detective Adams. Councilor Hurst.
Thank you, Mr. President. Detective Adams, do you think that a permanent moratorium might be a good next step in the future, since you seem to believe that we are oversaturated?
Well, I hesitate to recommend anything in a permanent status because as times go on and the city progresses, there are going to be times when maybe the increase will be something that's necessitated. So as far as at this point in juncture in time, I don't think that a permanent moratorium is a necessary thing, but it's something that with further data and study going down the line, it's something that could possibly be a prudent step.
And we have not seen an increase, because I think that was one of my biggest fears, was that once MGM was here, that we would see an increase in the number of transactions. And it seems to me, based off of the information that Councilor Fenton provided, that there was not the major escalation as I had originally thought. So even if we had more, I guess, you know, it seems like if we had more, you know, do you think there would be more transactions if we had more pawn shops?
Well, just based on the sheer logic of more opportunity and more locations to make transactions, we would generally see an uptick in that just based on the general availability to the public and things of that nature. And again, I think that I anticipated a higher uptick when regards to the casino, but I think that the fact that the pandemic hit at about the apex of that beginning, it really hasn't transcended the lockdowns, and we haven't really had a case study where we have a consecutive number of years where there's unabated access to that. So I think that at this point, the 3 years would be probably the most prudent way of going forward.
That makes sense. And I actually was a proponent of this moratorium at the outset of me becoming a city councilor. And so I certainly plan on supporting this. Councilor Fenton, I appreciate all of your due diligence in terms of the research, especially in terms of the comparison studies with other areas in the state of Mass. It seems to me that we are probably on the high side for the number of pawn shops and secondhand dealers in the state, especially when you look in comparison to the Worcesters and the New Bedfords of the world. You know, it just seems like we have our fair share. And so I love the idea of seeing what another 3 years will reveal in terms of the data that are uninterrupted years as it relates to COVID, or so to speak, uninterrupted years. I know COVID isn't over, but it seems like MGM is back up and running at full capacity. So let's see. I'm certainly supportive of the moratorium, and Councilor Fenton, I appreciate all of the time that you put into this particular ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hurst. Is there any further discussion on the ordinance? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to pass first step.
So moved.
Motion was made by Councilor Govan and seconded by Councilor Fenton. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approving first step.
On approving first steps, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila absent. Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Sorry, I didn't know I was muted. Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Williams absent. Councilor Letterman.
Yes, the motion is approved and the ordinance has passed first step. Madam Clerk, is there any further business before the council?
There is not.
Seeing none, we will stand adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Good night. Good
Good
job.
night, everybody.
Bye.
Nice job, Jesse.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thanks, everybody.